I call the member for Higgins.
I'm proud to stand to speak on the fact that this is a very momentous week in Australia's history. And that is because Australia is aiming to meet a net zero emissions by 2050, and we're going to do it the Australian way. We are going to act in a practical, responsible way to reduce emissions while preserving Australian jobs and taking advantage of the new opportunities that this green future is going to offer to Australia and to the world. And we're going to do that because we know the practicalities of it. This is about practical plans, not wishful thinking. This is about getting the job done, not hoping you can get the job done. This is about a plan that brings the Australian people with us. It's a plan that incorporates both the environmental concerns of bringing down emissions and the economic concerns where we need cheap, affordable, reliable and secure energy. Australia has benefited for centuries, or over a century, on cheap energy supply. But it's now time for us to develop a new green cheap energy supply, not just for us, but for the world. And if you look at the work that this government has done in the last 2.5 years since I've been elected, there's been an enormous amount of work on a plan. In fact, Mr Deputy Speaker, I was asked on the ABC in October 2019 what my view of a target was. At that time, I said that I'm not interested in a target until I know what the plan is. There is no point talking about a target without a plan, and that is what we're seeing from the other side. There's this conversation about a target, about what that target may or may not be. There's nothing about the plan. A target without a plan is completely useless. Every mother knows that, every father knows that, every business knows that, every institution knows that, every industry knows that. And we need a plan that's reliable, that's affordable, that we know what the elements of it are. And our plan is based on 5 key principles. It's about technology. The scientists, the engineers of the world are working day and night to solve the problems of energy for the world. We know there's no silver bullet. We know that we're going to have a diversified technology portfolio, and we can see that in our 5 stretch targets, which have now become 6 stretch targets. And this is a sort of debate I would like to see here on the floor, is about the debate about the diversified technology portfolio that we are developing. We're developing it knowing that we need to have affordable hydrogen. We know that hydrogen could be the firming power of our future. At the moment, it's going to be gas in our transition to a renewable future. We know that the sun and the wind is great from Australia. We know when the sun shines and the wind blows, we've got plentiful energy. But we do need to have a firming capacity. That means when there's a wind drought, as there's been in the UK recently, or when it's overnight with sunshine going down, we need to have more battery storage than just an hour or so, which batteries only can currently provide. Or we need to have some firming power, which might be gas for peaking gas stations, or hopefully in the not too distant future, it will be supplied by hydrogen. And if we can get it to under $2 a kilogram, green hydrogen will become incredibly commercialisable and scalable. And that's what Professor Alan Finkel, a recent or former chief scientist, has been helping us back in with more than $1.2 billion investment in clean hydrogen. And I was there visiting this morning the clean hydrogen hubs that we're seeing here already sprouting in the ACT. So we have views on ultra-low cost solar, on energy storage, on low emission steel and aluminium, even green cement, carbon capture and storage, and of course soil carbon measurement. But that's in stark contrast to those sitting on the benches opposite, because all they can talk about is targets and legislation. All they can talk about is the mechanisms of politics, not the realities of the plan. And the Australian people need an authentic conversation, which means we understand that you are the people, not you, Chair, but those who are listening. You are the people who are going to have to work to make sure that your clean energy future is going to help us get to where we need to get to. So the plan on the other side hasn't been talked about at all, but will they legislate taxes? Will their plan impact on manufacturing because energy prices have gone up? Is their approach going to be at any cost, a blank cheque? What I'm afraid of on the other side is that they are backseat drivers in this energy discussion or this energy debate. They are sour about the fact that they're not in the driver's seat. The Morrison government is in the driver's seat. They're in the back seat and they're moaning about the direction, but in their heart of hearts, the Labor Party and those on the opposite side know that we're going in the right direction. We know that Australia's future is certain with the Morrison government. Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker.
I call the member for